Hey there. It is right now minus 19 degrees and feels like negative 37. So I'm going to do this video here and run inside to warm up. I just got to work and my car, when it's this cold, does not really warm up in the 30 minutes or so it takes me to get to work. Okay, so I'm listening to the book The Convoluted Universe by Delores, and I've been listening to it in bits and pieces for a few months now. There's a lot of, it's packed full of information and light and transmissions, and it's dense in that way, but not dense like heavy. It just takes a lot of processing. And I seriously just listened to it for like probably 10 minutes this morning before I stopped the playback or the recording to let the information that I heard flow and download and flow into my body and flow into my understanding of being and knowing, based on my perspective and my experience so far in this life, in this human form, in this Kelly experience. So what was being shared is that, let's see, how can I describe it? Well, first of all, the person who she was interviewing, she takes folks into an altered state, and they share experiences of different multidimensional lives that they've experienced. And the person was trying to explain to her what they were experiencing during a different life form, and they were having difficulty explaining it because the words, the whole experience was so much different than our human experience that we didn't necessarily have human words to describe it. And what I interpreted, what I understood from that is that in that experience that they were trying to explain, there wasn't form. There wasn't form like we know of as physical form, human physical form. It was energy, and the essence of the energy of that being at that time could condense into different things. Maybe, I guess the picture that I got was condensing into more like a mist or more of a somewhat form. And when we come into our human experience, we're coming into our experience, and this isn't new information by any means. I'm sure you've heard this before, but what I experienced as I listened to this and received the activations and the codes from it is I actually feel it and sense it and know it in my body in a different way than just hearing the information, right? So when we come into our human form, we have that capacity. We always have that capacity no matter what lifetime we're in. But when we come into the human form, we actually have the ability to condense the energy and frequencies into concrete expressions. And I had to ask for that terminology, concrete expression, a more concrete expression, because as I was downloading the information, I didn't have a word for it. I'm like, okay, is it physical? It's like, I had to ask spirit, like, how would you describe it from human form versus non-human form, right? And the terminology that came to me was a more concrete expression. It's more solid. It's more physical. Physical just doesn't necessarily seem like it captures it. Concrete expression. Okay, concrete expression. That's what I keep hearing. So in our human capacity, in our human experience, we not only get to experience emotions and, well, okay, so a little more is coming to me now. Yeah, we experience emotions, we experience feelings, we experience that expression of energy as a sensation in our bodies, which can help drive how we shape, form, and create the concrete expressions of them. So, okay, concrete, it's taking two paths for me right now. One of them is a concrete expression formed as a result of emotions experienced, and another is concrete expressions formed as a result of thoughts and ideas. And one can drive the other, so to speak. Well, not so, no, just one can drive the other, and vice versa. I feel like there's more there, but it's not. but it's not coming to me as a concrete expression. Okay, that was humor from spirit. The now they're laughing at me. Oh, so much fun to co-create. The other part of my drive that wants to be shared was that I kept hearing, okay, yes, so it is very cold right now in Minnesota. A song that kept coming into my head as I was driving was Cold Cold Heart by Elton John and Dua Lipa, that version of that song. And initially I thought, yep, it's cold, you know, it makes sense that would be coming into mind. But so I played it anyway. I asked Google to play it on Spotify, and it did. I love the hands-free ability to do that. And what I understood after that was that there was emotion within me that needed to be moved and expressed. There was some resistance in there, in my body, in my human form. Okay, yes. So side note, but not a side note, because it wants to be shared. This is like another, everything I just shared is like the whole, okay, they want me to recap it with we are not humans having a spiritual experience, we are spirit having a human experience. Okay, they wanted me to tie that in there. Anyway, with the Cold Cold Heart, I noticed that my human vessel was holding resistance that needed to be moved. And I listened to that song, and then right away Spotify played the original version of Rocket Man by Elton John, which actually was the first, Elton John's Greatest Hits was the first cassette tape that I ever got. For my 8th birthday, I got this little green cassette player and Elton John, and then the other, just because it's fun, I'll share it. The other cassette tape that I got, number 2, was Thriller by Michael Jackson, because, you know, I was a huge Michael Jackson fan and had all the garb and the glove and the leather jacket and everything back in the day. I had a crush on him, I think, when I was in kindergarten. Anyway, as I let that emotion move through, I started to experience a softened version. I started to see some divine masculine, and I'm not quite sure how all this plays in together. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it was just that was motion that was ready to be witnessed and expressed and experienced and transmuted. I noticed divine masculine perspective, a divine masculine perspective stemming from the shadow masculine, some shadow masculine experiences I've had throughout my lifetime. So that has started to shift for me and come full circle. That's the second time this week that I have, okay, so things are starting to come full circle in different ways for me, and it's not an expression I use very often, but There it is. So if you're not familiar with divine masculine, shadow masculine, divine feminine, shadow feminine, their dualities, gosh, yes, I'm going to leave it with look it up. Do your own research on that and find the meaning in that for you. I think I've touched on it in other videos before, but that's not the purpose of this video. So I'm just going to put that out there. And I'm going to emphasize how music that you might be hearing in your head or songs that might be coming up, maybe you see it on TV, like see the title of a song or something like that. If it keeps coming around for you, play it and see. It's probably meant to move something within you. Okay, that is it. Until next time, enjoy the expansion, my friends, and stay warm.